What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to our channel. We are your hosts, the Distorted Theorists. And Peter, no time like the present. I'm in the middle of the gaming franchise. The new Resident Evil trailer just dropped, and from our few texts that we have between each other, I think we got different opinions on what we want to see here. But before we do, as always, if you want to support the channel, we do appreciate it if you would just take 1 second to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Peter, what did you say you didn't want to see in this trailer? Or this movie in general?
So when I texted you, I meant to send a follow-up text, but it just didn't happen. What I meant was, obviously Resident Evil is based in the games. Like that's where it came from. Even the movies, like the Wes Anderson ones that came back, or whoever it was, or Paul Anderson, or whatever that made them a while ago, they were still rooted in the games, and that's what I want from this one. But I don't want this to be a Jill Valentine, Claire Redfield. I don't want a Leon. I want this to be a new story that is developing outside or even within Raccoon City.
I'm a little bit opposite. I would love for this to be like a Leon story. I know the stills that I've seen, there's a guy in it, so I don't know if that's a Leon character or a young, whatever. I want to see some Umbrella Corporation sprinkled all over this because
Umbrella would make sense.
Yeah,
that's
and
fine.
I would love. People are saying they would love to see Wesker. I don't know if we're going to get that. I would love to see like the mansion or even, so far my favorite, I'm at 5 right now for my first ever playthrough of Resident Evil. I would love to see the police station, you know, like just that vibe, because number 2 so far is my favorite, the remake. But you know what? There's probably only one way to find out, and that is to get into our trailer reaction review and our breakdown for Resident Evil right now.
Getting 30 Days of Night vibes.
Hello?
Hello?
I had a little bit of a problem on the road. I was wondering if I could use your phone. Hello?
That kind of gives me actually Resident Evil 0 vibes so far, but they were on a train, but nonetheless.
The mind of Zach Kreger. He's the guy that did Weapons, right?
I think. Oh, hey!
There it is.
Well, we know how we feel about that film, so this already got me hyped. I didn't even know he was hands-on this.
I'm liking the way that they're doing this.
I'm really sorry that we got disconnected earlier, but some things have happened.
That seems like
I'm in like a seriously fucked up situation right now.
oh.
And it looks like there's
You gotta have the sewers. You gotta have the sewers.
Again.
This is Doom?
Oh, that was legs.
I just wanted you to know.
Oh!
I love you.
Damn!
Oh, September release. Okay.
He doesn't waste time. Filmed for IMAX.
I want to see this.
Yeah, I'm down to clown with that.
Okay, a couple things. I don't think any game right now sprinkled. I didn't see no police, no RPD, no Umbrella symbol, at least. But I do have 2 theories. One theory, if I may go first.
Yeah, you played the game, so I haven't.
The way he was talking on the phone makes me believe he may be an employee or something of Umbrella. Because he said something like, I can't remember exactly, but he was on the phone. He's like, I messed up since we talked earlier or something, or I fucked up or something. So I'm wondering if he was transporting the virus.
Or
maybe on the train or so. I know loosely, again, it's probably going to be based on
I'm going to say a name. It wouldn't make total sense if it was this person, but what if it is and you haven't encountered this person yet? What if it's Ethan? And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Because what you just
said...
I do
believe he's the character from 7 and 8, but I haven't played yet, right?
He is,
So
yes.
I'm okay with knowing that.
There's a little... Yeah.
Okay. Second of all, that big bloated white bald thing.
Yeah, that was in Dune.
Well, I recently, and please try not to quote me, I think it was in, no, it wasn't in 4. I think, anyway, it was in one of the games that I recently played between 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 5 and Code Veronica or Revelations 1. I can't remember. But either way, there was those things that they had the parasite inside of them. My God, I want to know what game that was. But anyway, you couldn't kill them. When you knock stuff off, it regenerated unless you used the thermal scope to find the parasites inside the body, and you had to specifically puncture the body to kill those, and it would... And those things were... For anyone who played the games, they flop around, and it was gruesome.
I remember from... all the things that I would see from Resident Evil games... This seems like the second half of one of the games. I'm not sure like if it's one of them, but like the game always starts off with like, something's going on, and then the zombie gun goes,
yeah,
and then that's it. You're like, oh, okay, well that was easy enough. And then the second half of the game is like, oh, there's a zombie, and the zombie goes, sup, bro?
Yeah. Well, that's more when the parasite comes in, I feel.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
Well, so. The trajectory of the games, just a little bit of information, seems to be starts with zombies, but of course over time, the more potent the progenitor virus or G virus or the Code Veronica, etc. There's different ones.
T-virus?
T-virus is the main one, but this has what look like multiple forms of zombies. So it's been like, it's almost like this has been going, yeah, well, we've seen legs and arms coming out crawling.
Thing coming out of the tub.
Right, and then we've seen also zombies just naturally like coming at the door, and he shot it. And then there was that white thing.
And then you also heard that like the sound that something was making, that like...
Yeah, so this tells me the virus has been mutating or around for a while. So I don't know if we're diving right into the world is already like this, or is this the kickoff, right? Now, of course... As much as I love and can't remember half of the old Resident Evil with that actress who you're going to tell me.
Mila Jovovich.
There you go. It had source material, but deviated a lot.
Oh, big time.
So while entertaining, I think a lot of fans like myself now, especially being very ingrained into the genre, especially on the heels of Requiem, want to see something a little more evil. Does that make sense?
More down to earth.
Yeah, like what?
More
what do you?
Street
okay,
level.
I'll ask you. What do you think the people, the masses, want to see in this film after seeing that trailer? What do we want? Like
horror,
gore, horror, scares, jump scares. What do we want?
What was actually captured with the first game that came out in what, 96, 98? And I remember reading stories of reading articles of what people were saying when it first came out, and that it horrified people. It was like one of the first games that was truly like, oh my God. And they always had that picture of that first zombie, that cutscene is just like, and he looks behind or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like, people's like, I've had nightmares just about that one dude, because it's the first time you encountered something like that that was so, it wasn't just like the shuffling zombie from Walking Dead or
and
whatever.
then of course halfway through the first game, the zombies changed theoretically because they were just slow walkers. But at one point in the game, you achieve something and all of a sudden they're fast, and it's like, and I mean, I'm not going to sit there and try to riddle off all the different creatures that have been introduced in Resident Evil since it was ever birthed. But if we move past the zombie threat, we're going to be good, because there's just going to be like, what if they bring in a boss fight or something like that? You know what I mean?
Nemesis. True nemesis.
Well, that's the thing. Will we get there? But this could be totally going a different direction.
Could that have been Mr. X?
Maybe like before he got turned into a
walking
bioweapon.
around? Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, I remember from Resident Evil,
big and like gray.
From Resident Evil 2, he was scary as fuck. That thud, boop, 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 and
which
you're
is
like,
why I tried Resident Evil 2 again, and like I'm just playing. I was like, I know what's going to happen. I know behind that door the guy's just going to be like, and I know eventually I'm going to get to a point. I think you turn the power on or off or something like that, and then you'll start to hear like the.
And after he moves the helicopter.
And that's my thing when it comes to these games, is like, oh, this is really cool. I can get behind, like, okay, I'm just going to avoid the zombies in front of the air and do the puzzles. That's kind of cool. I just don't like being chased. I don't like being chased. Unless I can kill the thing that's chasing me, and then I'm good, and then I can go back to doing my thing.
Looting and whatnot. But I feel like this movie is going to embody that very much, being chased.
Which is
there was a lot of running in this trailer in the second half.
Which is what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to invoke, that fear, that suspense, the chilling. That's why it's called a thriller.
Yeah.
you're supposed to like be on the edge of your
breathing
throat.
cathartically,
You're supposed
nervous,
to think
goosebumps.
like, I am uncomfortable. I am out of my comfort zone. That's why I have a hard time with Resident Evil games. The only one that I played, not to completion, but the most that I've gotten through, which still isn't very far, was Biohazard 7. Yeah. And that was like, I've gone through that intro, I think 4 times, and I'm still like, I know she's going to come over the stairs. I know she's there. And then you're like, Ethan, are you there? And it's just like, damn, every time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for our Resident Evil trailer reaction review and breakdown. As always, if you want to support the channel, we do appreciate it. If you would just take 1 second to hit our subscribe button, hit our like button, and let us know in the comment section below. Are you excited for this new Resident Evil film? What did you think of the trailer? Did it have those creepy vibes? And tell us about your journey with Resident Evil in the gaming world and how it has led you to this very trailer reaction. And with that, I am the real Jussy.
I'm still terrified. And like we always say around here,
keep it real.